Hello students, welcome back. Students, today we will discuss electrical properties of solids. So students, solids have an amazing property to conduct electricity. That means some solid substances allow the passage of electric current. And students, the electrical conductivity of solids, electrical conductivity of the solids lies in this range, that is 10 raised to power minus 20 to 10 raised to power 7 per ohm per meter. So this is a unit of electrical conductivity. Now on the basis of electrical properties, solids can be classified into three types. Students, the first type we have is conductors. Now what are conductors? So students, conductors are those substances or those solids, those substances rather, which conduct electricity in their solid state, molten state or aqueous solutions. And students, the conduction of electricity in these substances is due to movement of ions or electrons. So conductors में जो conduction है, it is either due to movement of what? Ions, or it is due to electrons. Now students, electrical conductivity of conductors is of order 10 raised to power say 4 to 10 raised to the power 7 ohm inverse and meter inverse. So this is their electrical conductivity. Now students, the conductors which show electrical conductivity due to the movement of ions, they are called electrolytic conductors. They are called electrolytic conductors. And those which conduct electricity due to the movement of electrons, they are called simply metals or metallic conductors. Now, metallic conductors, they have electrical conductivity of order 10 raised to power 7 per ohm per meter. And now one important thing students, these electrolytic conductors have conductance due to movement of ions, and ions are mobile only when these substances are in molten state or in aqueous solutions. That means these electrolytic conductors, or we say electrolytes, they conduct electricity in molten state or in aqueous solutions. Now students, whereas metallic conductors which conduct due to electricity due to the movement of electrons, they conduct electricity in solid state or molten state. So student, this was about conductors. Now students, the second type of solids on the basis of electrical properties, they are called insulators. Now what are insulators? So students, insulators are those substances or those compounds which conduct electricity to a very, very small extent. So these therefore have very low electrical conductivity. So these have low electrical conductivity. Their electrical conductivity is of order, 10 raised to power minus 20 to 10 raised to power minus 10 ohm inverse and meter inverse. And The common examples of insulators are like rubber, then we have non-metallic elements like carbon in the form of diamond, then we have sulfur, we have phosphorus. So these substances are insulators. Now students, the third type of substances on the basis of electrical properties are called semiconductors. They are called semiconductors. Now, as the name or the term suggests, semiconductors are those substances which have electrical conductivity intermediate between those of insulators and conductors. So these have intermediate electrical conductivity, and students remember this, their electrical conductivity is of order 10 raised to power say it is -6 to it is 10 raised to power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse. And the most commonly used semiconductors are silicon and germanium. So these are semiconductors. Then sulfur, phosphorus, carbon in the form of diamond, then rubber, they all are insulators. And then we have metals which act as metallic conductors, and then we have electrolytes which act as electrolytic conductors. Now students will discuss the mechanism of conduction of electricity in metals. Dear students, we have learned that metals conduct electricity. Now, important point about metallic conductors are, see students, first I've just taught you that metallic conductors conduct electricity in what? They conduct electricity in solid state or molten state. Now the typical examples, we have aluminium, then we have copper, then we have say iron, nickel, etc. So these are some commonly used metallic conductors. And secondly students, the conduction in metals is due to what? Is due to movement of, it is due to movement of electrons. And third important thing students, the electrical conductivity of a metal, electrical conductivity of a metal, it depends on number of valence electrons per atom, which means greater the number of valence electrons, more will be the electrical conductivity of metal. So students, this we already know, so that solids, substances or metals, they conduct electricity in solid state or molten state, and their conduction is due to electrons, and their electrical conductivity depends on number of electrons in the valence shell. Now students, how to explain the metallic conduction? So student, the conduction of electricity in metals is explained on the basis of band model. So we have a very important topic, band model. So conduction of electricity in metals can be explained on the basis of band model. So students, first, what is band model? So students, you have studied molecular orbital theory in class 11, where you had studied that whenever atomic orbitals overlap, molecular orbitals are formed. And students, in class 11 you had studied molecular orbital theory for diatomic species mainly. But listen students, according to this band model, we say that when large number of atomic orbitals of metal atoms, they overlap, we get a large number of molecular orbitals, and these molecular orbitals are so close to each other that they form a band, and we call such a band as energy band. Student, let me give you an example. So we have, say, sodium. Now student, see, sodium has configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, and then we have 3s1, and then in third shell we have 3p and 3d, but they are vacant. Now students, when large number of atomic orbitals of sodium atoms they overlap, we get large number of molecular orbitals also, which means, like, students, see this, when say two atomic orbitals overlap, you had studied this, when two atomic orbitals overlap, how many molecular orbitals we get? Two. One is called bonding, the other one is called anti-bonding, and there is a distinct energy gap between these two. But students, when the number of atomic orbitals increase, say there are many atomic orbitals, there are large number of atomic orbitals, so when they overlap, we get many what? We get many molecular orbitals. And students, these molecular orbitals are so close to each other in terms of energy that we get a band, means they are almost touching each other. So this is called energy band. And now students, a metal has many energy bands depending upon as to which type of atomic orbitals are overlapping. Like 1s atomic orbitals, they give rise to 1s energy band. 2s atomic orbitals, they give rise to 2s energy band. So similarly, we will have energy bands due to overlap of 2p, 3s, 3p as well as 3d. Now, so the lowest energy band will be 1s energy band. And students, since 1s atomic orbitals are fully filled, the molecular orbitals are filled, so we say this band is filled. So this is 2s energy band. Then we have next band 2s band. This is 1s band. Then the next will be 2s band. This will also be filled with electrons as the atomic orbitals are filled. Then we have 2p6 band. So this is 2p6. This is also filled. And then we have a band which is formed due to overlap of atomic orbitals of type 3s. So this is 3s band, but since atomic orbitals are half filled, molecular orbitals bhi आधे भरे होंगे, so we say only these. So this is partially filled band, this is 3s band. Now then we have what? 3p band, and above this we have what? A 3d band. But these bands are what? Vacant. Now students, among these energy bands, the one which is, say, filled or partially filled and has highest energy is 3s. We call this band as conduction band. So what is conduction band? Conduction band is what? Among the filled bands or partially filled band, the one with highest energy is called, valence band. We call it valence band. This is valence band. So this is valence band. So what is valence band? The outermost filled band, it can be partially filled also, is called valence band. Now students, we have some empty bands also, and among empty bands, the one with lowest energy is what? 3p band. This band which is empty is called what? Conduction band. We call it conduction band. And students, the gap between the energy gap between these two, that is valence band and conduction band, this is called forbidden gap. The energy gap between these two bands is called forbidden gap. Now students, on the basis of forbidden gap, the substances can be classified into three categories, that is metallic conductors, then we have what? Insulators and semiconductors. So students, first let me tell you metallic conductors में क्या होता है. Now students, in metals, this forbidden gap is almost 0 electron volts, which means that in metals the valence band and the conduction band, they are almost touching each other. So we say if this is what? This is say valence band, and then we have conduction band, but they are almost touching each other. There is no forbidden gap. So now students, what happens is that electrons from the valence band can easily move to conduction band, and therefore metals have high electrical conductivity. Now students, in case of insulators, the difference, so say this is valence band, and then we have conduction band. So this is conduction band, and students, this is the forbidden gap. But in insulator, this forbidden gap is quite large. Generally we say it is greater than say 3 electron volt. So this gap is quite large, so electron cannot move from valence band to conduction band, and therefore students, insulators we say have very low electrical conductivity, though their electrical conductivity can be slightly increased by raising the temperature. Now we have third type of substances, which are called semiconductors. Now students, in semiconductors, this gap is intermediate, means if this is say valence band, then we have conduction band, then this forbidden gap is quite small. For example, students, say if we have germanium or say silicon, then this forbidden gap in case of germanium is only 0.7 electron volt, and in case of silicon it is 1.1 electron volt. But still this energy gap is not that large. So some electrons can move, not all, but some electrons can move from valence band to conduction band, and therefore these substances or these solids also have some electrical conductivity, but that electrical conductivity will be intermediate between those of insulators and metallic conductors. Now students, I'll teach you the mechanism of conduction in semiconductors. Students, in semiconductors, the forbidden gap, that is the energy gap between valence band and the conduction band, is intermediate. That means it is not very large. So students, what happens is that these semiconductors में क्या होता है, that only few electrons can move, or only few electrons can jump from valence band to conduction band, and therefore they have very low electrical conductivity at say low temperature or say room temperature. Now for example, look students, in silicon the forbidden gap is 1.1 electron volt, and in germanium it is 0.7 electron volt. So this gap is not that large, but at room temperature only few electrons jump from conduction band to valence band to conduction band. So therefore silicon and germanium at lower temperature or at room temperature have low electrical conductivity. But students, their electrical conductivity increases with rising temperature. Why? Because when temperature is raised, more electrons can jump from valence band to conduction band. Students, so we say that at higher temperature, the electrical conductivity of these substances, silicon and germanium, increases. So this phenomena, due to which electrical conductivity of a solid is increased by raising the temperature only, is called intrinsic. This is called intrinsic semiconductivity. conduction. This is called intrinsic semiconduction. So since this behavior is shown by silicon and germanium, that is why we say silicon and germanium are what? They are intrinsic semiconductors. They are intrinsic semiconductors. So this is a very, very important phenomena, that electrical conductivity of solids can be increased by increasing temperature. Now students, due to intrinsic semiconduction, though silicon and germanium have relatively high electrical conductivity, but students, still the electrical conductivity of these two is too low to be of practical use. Means अभी भी उनका उतना ज़्यादा electrical conductivity नहीं है, so that हम उनको practically use कर सके. So students, what we do is that the electrical conductivity of silicon and these germanium crystals is further enhanced or further increased by adding an appropriate amount of suitable impurity. Means उनका electrical conductivity में impurity add करके भी बढ़ा सकता हूँ. Students, this phenomena, due to which electrical conductivity can be further increased by adding an appropriate amount of suitable impurity, is called what? Extrinsic. This is called extrinsic semiconduction. So students, we have two important phenomena. One is intrinsic semiconduction, the second one is extrinsic semiconduction. In intrinsic semiconduction, conductivity of solid is increased by raising the temperature only, whereas in extrinsic semiconductor or semiconduction, it is increased by adding suitable amount of an impurity. Now students, this phenomena is also called doping. We also call extrinsic semiconduction as doping. Now the electrical conductivity, say, of these two, silicon and germanium, is generally increased by adding two types of impurities. The first type of impurities are electron rich impurities. They are electron rich impurities, or we say these are what? Pentavalent impurities. So first type is pentavalent impurity, and second type of impurities which we add to these silicon or germanium crystals to increase their electrical conductivity is called electron deficit impurity. Electron deficit impurity, or what? Trivalent impurity. Trivalent impurity. Now students, I will tell you how electrical conductivity can be increased by adding these two types of impurities. Students, in extrinsic semiconduction, the first type of impurity which we add to silicon or germanium lattice is electron rich impurity. Students, these electron rich impurities are actually pentavalent impurities. Why we say pentavalent? Because they have a characteristic valence of 5. That means they have 5 electrons in the valence shell. So these are actually group 15 elements like phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, etc. So these are group 15 elements. Now students, we dope silicon or germanium lattice with these. Now students, we know that silicon and germanium are group 14 elements and they have a characteristic valence of 4. That means each silicon or germanium atom can form 4 covalent bonds with the neighboring atoms in the lattice, and we know that their lattice is just like diamond. Now we have germanium crystal, and students, when we dope say germanium with group 15 element, say with say arsenic or say antimony, so we are taking say antimony. Now students, we know that antimony has how many electrons in the valence shell? It has 5. So out of those 5 electrons, 4. So this is the first electron which is used in covalent bonding. This is the second electron which is used. This is the third electron, and this is the fourth electron. But students, in the lattice, antimony can form 4 covalent bonds because lattice तो वही रहना चाहिए. But student, उसके पास how many valence electrons were there? 5. So that means the fifth electron of this antimony remains unused, and this electron is free or delocalized. And because of presence of these delocalized electrons, student, the germanium crystal now will have slightly higher electrical conductivity. So here the electrical conductivity is due to the delocalized or the free electron of the impurity. Now students, since the electrical conduction in this lattice is mainly due to electrons which are negatively charged, we say that this crystal becomes n-type semiconductor. So student, this is very important point, that whenever silicon or germanium, they are doped with a pentavalent impurity, we get n-type semiconductor. So this is our conclusion, that we get n-type semiconductors on doping silicon or germanium with pentavalent impurity. Now the second type of impurity which we can add to increase electrical conductivity is electron deficit. Students, electron deficit impurities are trivalent impurities, that is, they are group 13 elements like aluminium, gallium, indium, etc. Now students, when we dope say a silicon or germanium lattice with say gallium, now students, what happens is that gallium is a group 13 element, so it has how many electrons in the valence shell? It has only 3. So it uses one of its electrons, second will be used in the lattice, even third will be used. But students, gallium के पास तो 3 ही इलेक्ट्रॉन है, so that means this site remains unoccupied. पहले यहाँ इलेक्ट्रॉन से अगर जर्मेनियम होता तो जर्मेनियम ने तो अपना इलेक्ट्रॉन देना था बॉन्ड फॉर्मेशन में, लेकिन गैलियम के पास तो इलेक्ट्रॉन है ही नहीं. So student, this position remains unoccupied, and these electron vacancies are called holes. And student, what happens is that electrons from say the other bonds can move to occupy these holes, but thereby यहाँ पर hole create हो जाएगा. So इसको भरने के लिए से यहाँ से कोई इलेक्ट्रॉन आता है तो ये वाला वो ऑक्यूपाई कर लेगा, बट देन फिर यहाँ होल क्रिएट हो जाएगा. So what happens under the influence of applied electric field, that these holes they start moving, and these holes are considered as a positive charge, as they are the electron vacancies. So we treat them as the positive charge. And since now the electrical conductivity of the solid is raised, and since it is due to positively charged holes, we say now this crystal becomes a p-type. P is for positive. Positive is due to holes. So this crystal becomes now a p-type semiconductor. So finally we conclude that upon doping with trivalent impurity, silicon or germanium crystals, they become p-type semiconductor, and when we dope them with a pentavalent impurity, we get n-type semiconductor. So students, these were the electrical properties of the solids. Now in next video lecture, I will teach you about the magnetic properties and dielectric properties of solids. Thank you, students.